Just when you thought the presidential nominations were all in the bag, other candidates pop up all over the political landscape. But the big question is, will the wannabe candidates hurt the will-be candidates? Stand by to Talk Back Live. Hello and welcome to Talk Back Live this afternoon. I'm Leon Harris sitting in for Susan Rook today, and today is primary day out west, the day of the big California vote. But Bob Dole and Bill Clinton already are confident of their party's support, but could third-party candidates shake that confidence? Pat Buchanan is not breaking party ranks, but he is hinting that he may go his own way if the GOP doesn't adopt his platform. And he's already making plans for San Diego.
Is to go into the Republican convention as a Republican, to try to open that party up to the working and middle class folks and their views, and to try to represent middle America there, and that remains our present intent.
Ross Perot clings to his third-party dreams.
The nation will be shocked at how many people leave the two existing parties to come to the Reform Party.
And now, consumer advocate Ralph Nader says that he wants to be president and he doesn't care who gets hurt.
A green alternative is a healthy thing for competition to the political parties that now dominate the scene.
It's estimated Nader's candidacy could siphon as much as 5% from the Clinton campaign, while the GOP is seriously threatened by challenges from Buchanan and Perot.
You want to throw your vote away on Buchanan and Perot and keep power with the Washington bureaucrats.
All right, now Bob Dole says that he's hoping for a strong showing today in California to help fend off a third-party challenge from Ross Perot. Dole says that rather than making life tough for him, Perot should be out poking holes in President Clinton's balloon. Well, joining us now is Norris Clark, a field representative for the Reform Party. The party was born out of Ross Perot's United We Stand America Citizen Action Group. Also joining us is David Gillespie. He's a professor of political science at Presbyterian College, and he is the author of Politics at the Periphery, Third Parties in Two-Party America. Thanks for coming in, gentlemen, this afternoon. Appreciate your time. First of all, Mr. Clark, let's begin with you. Is Ross Perot going to run?
You have to understand that the Reform Party is doing a three-step process right now. The first thing we want to do is focus our attention on getting the Reform Party ballot access in all 50 states. Ross Perot is working day and night to help see that come about. The second thing we're going to do is have a national convention sometime around Labor Day. At this convention, the members of the party, the people that signed the petitions and helped us to get on the ballot in all 50 states, they are going to make the decision about who the nominee of the Reform Party will be on the basis of one man, one woman, one vote. We're also going to decide which congressional candidates we're going to endorse. So it's too soon, really, to discuss who the candidate of the Reform Party would be.
Now, is that fair to say it's too soon? After all, Ross Perot's money is behind it. Isn't it too fair to... You got to think that it's fair to assume that he's got to want to take control.
Well, look, if Ross Perot wanted to run as a candidate for president, it would be far simpler for him and far less expensive to simply put his name on the ballot of all 50 states. What we're doing here is creating a major new third party, a party that will represent the largest segment of this country. We were just in California last year. In 18 days, we had over 120,000 people leave the two major parties. That's about 6,000 people a day, left the two major parties and joined the Reform Party. They joined it because they saw that in this party an opportunity to be represented. They saw in this party a genuine, true desire to reform our political system. They're sick and they're tired of seeing our elected officials going cap in hand to every special interest group in this country.
All right. Well, I hate to cut you off. We've got a caller who's been waiting to get on and talk to you. Is that Kevin there from West Virginia?
Yes.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Your comment?
Yes. One of the things that Ross Perot seems that he wants to push through, he says he wants to revamp the welfare system. Okay. The Republicans have already did that. He wants to revamp the political parties. He wants to balance the budget. These are things that he said he wants to do that his supposed party is so strong with. The Republicans have already did this. Where was he and his people whenever President Clinton vetoed these that the Republicans already pushed through? Why hasn't he stepped up and said, these are the issues that we find important to us, which he has already said that the Republicans have already pushed through?
All right. Well, how about that, Mr. Clark? You want to answer that one?
Well, I just encourage the caller to take the contract with America and check off how many actually have been implemented into law. Let's talk about some of the things that we are greatly concerned about. Let's talk about balancing the budget. We're $5 trillion in debt. We do not have a balanced budget amendment, and we don't have a balanced budget. We are stealing the American legacy from the next generation, and we've got to do something about it. Let's talk about campaign finance reform. The President of the United States and Speaker Gingrich in New Hampshire, they shook hands promising to do something about campaign finance reform. We all watched them grip together, but we haven't seen them follow up on anything with that. There's no mention of campaign finance reform in the contract with America. This is the reason why so many people are leaving the established parties and joining the third party movement. They don't trust their elected officials. And the reason they don't trust them is because these elected officials have to raise so much money to finance their campaigns so they can take out these 1 to 2 minute ads to dump mud on each other.
All right, let me get the professor here to weigh in on some of this. First of all, I want to get back to another comment that Mr. Clark made earlier about there being a difference between Ross Perot putting his name on each ballot in all 50 ballots, all 50 states, individually as opposed to doing so with a party. What difference does that make? Any at all?
There are a lot of advantages to running either way. Ross Perot in 1992 ran as an independent. Really began, I guess, in this building on February the 20th, 1992, when on Larry King Live, he announced that he was willing to run for the presidency if the people would put him on the ballot. Now he is organizing on a party basis. He will have a lot of support, organizational support, as he puts all that together. And I think there are some real advantages to going the party route. Let me say that I agree with what the Reform Party spokesman said, with one exception. It's not an open question as to who will be the nominee on the Reform Party ticket. It will be Ross Perot. Ross Perot said the other day that he could contribute $1,000 to the campaign on the Reform Party ticket of anybody else. But if he were the nominee, he could contribute as much of his billions as he wants to, and he contributed $70 million 4 years ago, so he will be the nominee.
Well, you know, I don't want to pick a fight with Ross Perot. He makes more money than I do. But that brings up a good point, doesn't it? It's sort of an irony here. One of the reasons why he's popular is because he rails against the power and the influence of the special interests. However, if he uses his own money, as it looks like he's going to, isn't he the ultimate special interest?
Well, this is an irony of what we've done in our Federal Election Campaign Act. If we ever have somebody to come in from the outside, given the discrimination that is written into the law, it's going to have to be somebody very wealthy like Ross Perot. That's very sad, but that's the way it is. The Republicans and the Democrats have written the law to benefit themselves.
All right, let's take a quick look at a CompuServe message we got in just a few minutes ago. I think we have it on the screen. There we go. Will petition fraud charges against the Reform Party hurt Perot's chances of getting on all 50 states' ballots? It's in from Tim Sparks. Mr. Norris, what do you know about this? Norris Clark?
Look, you have to understand that the two major parties in this country are not enthusiastic about a third party, a major new third party coming onto the scene. Now, the Republicans, they talk about free enterprise and competition, but they really don't always want the competition. And you go to some of these states, they want to do everything they can to put obstacles in our way. And we've seen that in some of these states. But I can assure your callers that by the time the election comes around, the Reform Party will be on the ballot of all 50 states. And let me just refer to something that was just mentioned a little bit ago about Mr. Perot and the Reform Party. He's bending over backwards to create a political party that will have a completely open process. He's going to help build a party where everybody that helps to create the party will be able to make a choice. We're going to invite people from all over the country to come to our churches, to our schools, to our venues, where they are going to be able to choose the candidate of the Reform Party. All right. If Ross Perot is the candidate of the Reform Party, it is because, like the people in New Jersey that I've talked to, there is a deafening roar out there for him to run.
I think there's going to be a big surprise if he is not on all parts. All right, got to take a break right now, folks. When we come back, let's talk politics again, party loyalty, and Pat Buchanan. Is Buchanan a spoiler? What do you think about that? Is Pat just full of himself, or could he really tear apart the very party that gave him his forum? Back in a moment.